We're less than 2 months to the end of the season. We've won our last game, and we still have an outside chance of getting into the playoffs. However, with having only won 3 games in the last 19, the board are still not very happy with me. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 10 of One Team, One Dream, Into the Woods. My name is James, and on today's episode we have back-to-back home games. First, a rival game against Barnet, followed by a rearranged fixture in terms of Maidenhead. We were supposed to be playing Aldershot on today's episode, but that fixture was rearranged due to a clashing fixture that Aldershot had. So we are now going to be facing Maidenhead instead. And that was a completely unintentional rhyme. Since you're last with me, I haven't seemed to be making that noise a lot, if I'm honest. So in the last episode, we drew against Sutton and lost against Bromley. We'll call it mixed form in the last 2 games, having lost against Solihull Moors and then won quite convincingly against Altrincham. This game in particular was a bit of a weird one, a bit of an anomaly. My frustration is not so much at the loss, so much at myself. Yet again, I didn't realise the tactic had defaulted back to the 4-2-4, and we were actually playing it for this game. We did actually go ahead in the first half, and then just fell apart in the second half, and that seems to be the theme with that tactic. I should have realised as soon as it started happening that was going to be the case. The Altrincham game was much more convincing. For this one, we were playing the 4-4-2 Route 1, and it's the reason I'm going to carry on for the rest of the season playing it. It was the most non-league game you've ever seen in your life. It was very up in the air, end to end, back and forth and back and forth. It's happened to be that we've got 2 very strong strikers up front that are able to take the most of their chances. So with that in mind, let's get into the first match, which is going to be the rivalry game against Barnet. Just a couple of things of note. So we have Champion is suspended after picking up too many bookings, and Winter is currently out injured for 4 to 9 days after pulling his hamstring in training. You'll also note we have a selection of trialists in at the moment. This was off the back of the announcement of which youth players the Premier League teams are going to be releasing in the summer, and so I bring in a load of them every year. I play this game and pick the best of the bunch. We've already offered a contract to one. I'll announce that person when they come in the summer. But the rest have come in at 5-star potential. It's just a case of them sitting here for 2 weeks, scouting them properly, seeing how they look, and then obviously we'll pick our favourites from the selection. So the team that is going to be facing Barnet today and trying to get a win against the side that we lost against away earlier on the season. We've got Huddard in goal, a back 4 of Femi, Tricker, Fifield and Smith, Thomas, Adebayi, McDonnell and Whiteley in midfield, with Colehurst and Shamanga up front, developing quite the partnership. I'm hoping that the previous match that we played before this episode was not a blip like it was. It felt like it was before the last episode. And hopefully that is the start of a change of form. This is going to be a very, very kind of key game for us in terms of showing whether we can actually do anything and if we are going to be able to achieve our targets this season. And we have a highlight here with McDonnell in central midfield to Adebayi. Adebayi's pressure, but he managed to find Colehurst, who's tried to go around the keeper. Keeper does well, though, to come out and smother the ball at Colehurst's feet, not giving him any opportunity to try and bring it down. But the highlight continues on. But Smith manages to clear the clearance, and exactly what I said before, back and forth through the air. Lots of long balls. Loach with the ball forward again. This time Barnet managed to win the ball into the penalty area. He's being pressured, but can he put the cross into the centre to Mason Clark? Luckily, Mason Clark was scrabbling to try and get the ball and puts it over the top. However, in the first 25 minutes, we have only had 1 shot on target, but we do have a corner here. Fortunately, we don't manage to do anything with it. Barnet managed to clear it. Luckily, it only goes as far as Femi. Femi puts it back wide to McDonnell. McDonnell chips through to Colehurst. Can Colehurst get into the centre to Thomas? To Shamanga. We are being outnumbered in the penalty area here. Thomas with the shot has some venom on it. Unfortunately, it goes wide. But one thing I have noticed, almost 30 minutes on the clock at the moment. They've had 12 shots, 6 on target in this first half. Huddard is definitely earning his wages so far this week, and we've had 1 shot out of 3 on target. I mean, we are lucky to still be drawing at this point, aren't we, really? Coming into half-time, and Barnet have dominated that first half. And I think we are very lucky to still be drawing. But we had the lion's share of the highlights in that first half. Maybe Barnet are getting lots of chances, but not necessarily creating anything with them. Right, I'm going to say, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to say, I agree with the manager, with my assistant this time. I'm going to say outstretched arms. Oh, we can't say with outstretched arms. Point the finger then. We're not doing too badly at all. Keep going out there. I think even if we can get a draw in this match, I think a draw against Barnet that are kind of just above us, pushing into the playoffs as well, is going to be a positive result. But we do have a throw in here on 51 minutes. Femi with the chip forward, looking for Shimanga. Shimanga tries to put it through the goalkeeper's legs, but the goalkeeper is wise to it, and the ball is cleared, and Whiteley, for some reason, puts it out for a Barnet throw in. Huddard with the goal kick. Hoofs it forward, manages to find a Boreham Wood player, but Colhurst with the ball now to Shimanga in the centre. Goalkeeper misses it. Goalkeeper came to get the ball, completely misjudged the flight. She ends up at Shimanga's feet. I don't think he was expecting it, but still manages to put it into what was an open net. Huddard with the big ball forward, managed to find Thomas. Thomas to Colhurst. Colhurst sees the run of Shimanga, chips it into the centre. Goalkeeper completely misjudges it and misses the ball. Ends up at Shimanga's feet, and he puts it in to put us 1-0 up. McDonald with a free kick. We know he can hit it from range, but he chips into the centre for Shimanga, who hits the crossbar. Was looking for his second of the game, and unfortunately he hits the woodwork. Right, 70 minutes on the clock. Let's have a look, because we've got a number of players who are not playing well in this game. Thomas in particular is having an awful game. So we'll bring on Collier for him, we've tried a couple of times actually now on this left-hand side, as Whiteley seems to have a better game on the right, even though, I mean, I say he has a better game on the right. Not this game is not a good example of that. I'm not going to change too much. We don't have a secondary winger to bring on for Whiteley. I'm not going to change too much. One thing I have been looking at when I've been watching a couple of videos, and actually I'll continue that story after this highlight. Whiteley has the ball, but he loses out the ball to Barnet. This is where Barnet are going to claw it back, aren't they? Taylor through to the Barnet striker, who puts it in so easy. As soon as we lost the ball near their penalty area, I knew how that was going to end, and we have not been playing well, and probably not good for our lead. And quite rightly, Barnet have finally put one in. They've had enough shots to you think they'd at least scored one of them, and hopefully that is their last goal of the game. Right, so let's make a couple of substitutions, because we have got some awful numbers on this field. I want to take Whiteley off, but what on earth do we do with him? Right, I think the best thing we can do is we'll swap Kuya and Whiteley over. We're going to take Whiteley off and bring on Blackshaw. He can't play as a winger. He is in fact a fullback. Yeah, we'll play him up there. He'll be fine. So we'll play him out there. He's not as comfortable out there as he would be in the fullback position, but I think needs must. I think we're going to have to make that final substitution, because we've got some awful average ratings in defence as well. Frustratingly, we can't seem to get the defence working. I don't know what it is, but none of the players seem to want to play well together, and this is the biggest issue. We don't have an issue with scoring. We just have an issue with defending. I think we're going to need a massive overhaul in the summer if we're going to actually be able to get anywhere next season. I'm going to take Fifield off. We're going to bring on Shihab, who is our 5'9" central defender, who we are actually now training as a right back, because I just can't bring myself to keep playing a 5'9" centre back. And let's hope that we can hold out for the last 15 minutes. Right, we're in injury time, and hopefully this is going to be it now. Coming up to full time, I will take that 1-0 against Barnet. It is probably the most we could have expected from that game for how much Barnet dominated in that match. I'm going to say, unlucky boys, it wasn't our day. I think that's a lie. Defensively, we have been so poor, and I'm going to be having some discussions, I think, some individual talks with some of our defenders, because they need to pull their fingers out if we're going to get anywhere near the playoffs, which is becoming less and less. We're now 5 points gap between us and 7th, and I think that's pretty much going to be it, unless we can somehow drag it back. in the latter stages of the season, but the weeks are running out, and we've only got a finite number of games left. Here we have the second match of today's episode. Again, another home game, this time against Maidenhead. We are now on a shocking 2-game unbeaten run, which is unheard of so far this season. Hopefully we can get another positive result against Maidenhead. No matter how much really we got dominated against Barnet, I'm hoping that Maidenhead, which should be slightly easier opposition, we can hopefully get an even more positive result out of this game. Even with a few fines and a few warnings being handed out, there's still no change from the previous match. So we have Huddard in goal, back four, Femi, Tricker, Fifield and Smith, Thomas, Adebayi, McDonald and Whiteley, and Colehurst and Shamanga. I think the only thing I will do though is I'm going to change this to being a positive mentality. Let's go out at home with a positive mentality against a side that I'd hope we'd be competitive against, and go out there and try and get the first goal to give us some momentum in this match. We are favourites in this game as well, which doesn't really mean much based on how our form has been like recently, but I'm hoping that means that the tide is turning, and we can start to get more positive results as the end of the season comes to a close. And we have a highlight here. Ball whip to the centre. McDonald with the free kick into the centre. Tricker manages to get to it. Free header it looked like. And he manages to put it into the back of the net to put us 1-0 up just before half time. McDonald with the chip. Tricker at the back post. Manages to lose this man. I also just seen that Barnet are now losing to Altrincham as well. Was it Altrincham or was it Aldershot? Aldershot. So, so Barnet are now losing also. They've actually dropped massively. They've dropped right down to being just above us now. It is also slightly shortened the gap to 4 points, which shows you how close it really is for those final playoff spots. Right, half-time 1-0 up. Maidenhead aren't even on the board for XG. They've not had a single shot in that first half. Hopefully we can carry that on into the second half of today's game. Pump fists, things are going well. I know they're capable of better. To be honest, this is better than we've had in many, many weeks. Hopefully we can kick on from here and finally get 3 points on an episode. It's been a couple of episodes since we've seen that. Right, Whiteley with the ball on 62 minutes. Loses out to Maidenhead though. Maidenhead are going to look to bring the ball forward. This worries me because the highlight started with me. The ball, however, McDonald managed to win the ball back. Colehurst takes a shot. Shamanga now collects it. McDonald through to Shamanga again. Shot, cross goal, cross the keeper into the back of the net, putting us 2-0 up. I mean, as soon as we lost the ball then, I was like, we had the possession too early in that highlight. I thought Maidenhead were going to counter-attack. But in the most non-league calamity of errors from Maidenhead, we managed to win and lose the ball back at least 2 or 3 times in that sequence. Shamanga ending up with the ball in loads of space in the penalty area and slots it in for our second of the match. We have a highlight almost straight away. Femi with the throw-in. The ball is cleared by Maidenhead, but as far as Tricker. Now to McDonald, to Adebayi, to Shamanga, out wide to Femi. Can he whip the cross into the centre? Yes, he can. No one in there, unfortunately, apart from a Maidenhead defender. And now Maidenhead are going to look to bring it forward with Wilson. Wilson is not being pressured at all. He's been allowed to run from the halfway line into the penalty area. McDonald tries to do a very weak tackle there. Fortune in the centre straight away. After our second goal, Maidenhead have pegged us back to just the 1-goal lead. And that was very poor. Wilson not being pressured at all. Where is Kane? McDonald? Smith, there he is. Why is he over there? Why is McDonald the one that's coming back? Kane should have been the one that was back there making the tackle, but McDonald with a very poor tackle. Wilson still kept the ball into the centre. Fortune, who is being marked, but Fifield made no attempt there really to try and get the ball. I think it's time to make a substitution. I think that was too many things in one sentence. I think. Never mind. Right. Smith is having yet another poor game. Let's try Shihab at fullback. I know he's only training there. He's not been out there. He's not been training very long. But why not give him a shot either? He can't do any worse than Smith, who even after his fine, I find him a week's wages, he is still putting in a poor performance. Thomas as well is having yet another. Both those players received a week's fine after the last match. You wouldn't know it. Right, Shihab with the throw-in. Fortunately, it goes to Wilson. He's not very good at throw-ins. I probably should have changed that. I don't know why it defaults to him, I presume because there's no one else on the field that has been selected. And Maidenhead are looking to bring it forward. Wilson is in loads of space again. Into the penalty area. Coley with the ball this time. Goes past his man. Another very weak tackle, but this time from Fifield. But Fifield manages to clear it on the second attempt. Colehurst is now looking to counter-attack. Out to Kuyar. Kuyar running at his man. Unfortunately can't get him. Tries to kick it and kicks it straight at him instead. And it goes out for a throw-in. Whiteley with the free kick. Whipped into the centre, cleared by Maidenhead, but QR is quickest out to collect the loose ball. Fortunately, he's being pressured, has to go back to Shihab. Shihab whips in the centre to Shamanga. Shamanga, you'd expect him from there to put that in. Shihab, for the fact it's his first time out wide as a right back, was a very good cross from him. And Maidenhead had a goal kick, cleared it forward, but it came to Colehurst. Now to Shamanga. Shamanga this time again. That is 2 shots in a row. The fact that he's supposed to be playing really well. Let's push him forward to advance forward. Let's take off Colehurst to bring on Fagan for our last substitution of the match. Give Fagan a couple of minutes of game time. And full time, we have our win on an episode. It still wasn't clear cut. And you'd expect, based on the XG, you'd expect us to have done a lot better in terms of scoreline. Shamanga missing 2 opportunities there at the death. He could have easily had a hat-trick in this game. But I think I'm going to say outstretched arms. Well done, lads. All positive. I could easily start complaining at some of the players, Thomas and Kane, the usual suspects. But you know what? We'll take that as a positive. We're now within 4 points of the playoffs. Hopefully that is a start of a vein of form that we can try and build upon. So let's look at when we're going to come back for the next episode. I will see out the rest of April, pushing into May. I think based on what's going on at the moment, unless there's a massive turnaround, I think it's unlikely we're going to make the playoffs this season. So I'm going to run forward through to Dagenham and Redbridge and Wrexham as the last 2 games of the season. I'm also where we already have had 10 episodes on this season. Obviously, I don't want to drag it out too much more. So we'll run through those half a dozen games through to the last 2 games of the season. If we're going to have any chance of getting to the playoffs, it's going to be done on the last couple of games of the season. I don't think it's going to be settled before that. And if you enjoyed that video and you're looking forward to seeing more videos over the Christmas period, please give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to make sure you don't miss any of those videos as they come out. And thank you very much for watching.